Well, I think if you're both teams, you got to just completely forget the first 45 minutes. You got to come out here like it never even happened, and just start again. I feel like Watford's got another chance here. I do think that they're going to take advantage of it here, and it's going to be like we're just starting 0-0 on a random sunny day. I think it's going to be great.
Welcome to Vicarage Road. Please welcome to the pitch Norwich City and Watford. Watford line up this afternoon. Number 26, Ben Foster.
And who wouldn't want to hear Martin Tyler? His voice is like honeysuckle on pond. So, he is just a lovely, flowing voice. And I feel like he's like the Keith Jackson of soccer commentators. So. And as you see, James, Watford, the 1 seed here in this relegation tournament, Norwich in 20th. Oh. Well, that's a problem.
Okay. All right. All right, folks. I think for the umpteenth time, we finally have this working. So again, apologize for the inconvenience. But looks like we're about to get the match underway.
Thank you for attending Victory.
All right, Kels, what do you think is going to happen here? It looks like we got a foggy game this time around.
Yeah, weather conditions much worse here. As you can see, a storm has rolled in the 10 minutes that we were away there. So
yes, that's England for you in the middle of April.
Yes, I feel like this is truer to England right here. This
yes.
is what it looks like.
Yes.
Norwich back in their Syracuse orange uniforms here. Interesting choice.
And especially it looks like this time around that Watford's being a lot smarter with the ball. And every time I open my mouth, it seems like they throw it away. But it should be a little more interesting. I am hoping that it'll be a much closer game than our first go-around with this. But it looks like, the weather might play a little bit of a factor here. Especially seems like the fog might get a little, could get worse, could get better. We don't know. But that's the interesting thing about soccer. You play in any condition.
And apparently the wet weather helps the offense too, as the ball's a little slicker. As players are able on defense, maybe not able to move as lightly as they would back and forth. So see how that works here. Not sure if that carries over to the PS4 world, but we'll see.
Yes. Oh, it looks Aaron's doing pretty well with possession here. See if they can make something out of it. Oh, poor pass. Tried to get through and get a nice little shot off, but it seems like Watford read that perfectly. And, of course, they followed that up with yet another poor pass on their part.
Keep expecting to see Jim Boeheim just be disgusted on the sidelines here with these Norwich uniforms, but they just really look like Syracuse. Maybe those like awful 2010 era Brandon Trice.
Oh, and we got a nice little through pass here. And do we gonna get that? Oh, as you can tell, folks, we are not color commentary and play-by-play experts by stretching the imagination, but we can definitely get a little better, as it seems Watford's getting ready for a goal kick.
I don't know, James. You sound like a regular Marv Albert out there, so.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, we were talking about this before in one of the earlier videos, but I feel like we should mention this again. Do you think this would be something that the BPL maybe should consider doing if the season can't be resumed? Obviously, if they can't play all the rest of the games. Would you like to see kind of a tournament like this to determine relegation?
Yeah, I would definitely like to see that happen. I think that would be probably the best way, especially too, the way that this seems like everything is going. It doesn't seem like sports will be coming back anytime soon. With that said, though, I think the one thing that they should do is at least get Aston Villa to play one more game, because at that point I think it would change seeding. Beforehand I thought it would just be good to have 4 teams, but I don't know. I think depending on how close everything is, maybe expanding it to 6 teams would be good, be a little more entertaining, and it could be a good way to get some fans back into knowing that Premier League is back and have a mini tournament. Just because I don't think it's really fair for some teams to not have the chance of escaping. This is well beyond their control.
That's true, and I think when you look at the schedule, obviously at the beginning of the season, it's balanced out over the course of the entire season, expecting them to play the 35 games, I believe it is, at the end of the season. And when you only play a fraction of those, when you leave out a few, obviously some teams are going to have easier games versus other teams which will have tougher games coming up. So it's kind of is unfair to kind of relegate a team into the championship based on a shortened season in that way.
Yep, so, and as we were talking here, nice save by Norwich. So it looks like we're going to be getting ourselves a corner kick for Watford. Especially, it seems like this game compared to our last go-around that Watford's now being the better team, especially possession. Nice little punch out there by Norwich. But it looks like Watford might have the better chance of scoring the first goal here. But, it seems like this is a much more evenly matched game than previously.
Yeah, previous game was absolutely horrible. Watford looked like they were playing, it looked like they were an N64 team out there playing on PlayStation. Norwich was just dominating, but they do look, Watford, this is like the version of them that maybe beat Liverpool there. I think shout out to your cousin Katie.
Oh, I'm very sure she'll be thrilled. Can't wait to get that angry text message. But, especially, too, I think you have to give Watford a little bit more respect than most people probably have been giving them. They did pull off the big upset as they kick it away there and try to keep the defense going. I'm not sure why they didn't try to push it upfield. Instead, we got Norwich in the throw-in. So it's very interesting to see how virtual teams make virtual decisions, but, that's where we stand.
Yeah, you really wonder what he was thinking right there. What was going
on? Oh, and big turnover here. Can Norwich take the chance? Oh, good save.
Wow. Norwich regaining possession there. That was huge. That was a great hit of the circle button by the Watford defender, but big time save right there.
Yeah, that's using the left thumbsticks and everything very well. Get some nice saves.
Game. Now, I think one thing that would be interesting with the tournament here is how would you play it if it did end up tied through the 90 minutes? Would you go into kind of a golden goal situation at the end? Would you have regular overtime with 2 extra periods and then go to penalty kicks? I think that would be an interesting thing as well.
I think it really all depends on what you're looking to get out of it. I think golden goal would probably be the best way to go. But, other times, too, it's not a bad idea to have the 2 15-minute extra times. Really, I think just depends because you can't, if you have 4 teams, you really do have to have extra time or the golden goal. If you do expand it to 6, obviously, when it comes to the group stages, you can obviously have a tie because you can have one, but at some point it's really hard to determine what you would do because how do you do it? I mean, I would imagine that EPL probably has it that the standings stay as is in situations like this. It's not the first time when you think about it that major sports, especially in Europe, have stopped due to global issues. Obviously, you have World War I and II that cause a lot of things to stop. So I would imagine they have a plan in place. But I think for a fan, I speak from myself, that it'd be great to see a tournament to see teams who really want to not get knocked out have at least one more fighting chance.
Yeah, that's right. And right now, if you did have a 6-team tournament, you'd have Brighton and Hove Albion in there. They're in the 15th spot in the Premier League right now. West Ham, we should mention, they're in 16th place. They just escaped this little mini tournament here. They actually have 27 points. Watford also has 27 points, but they have a minus 15 goal differential. Watford with a minus 17, so that's why Watford is the 1 seed here in our mini tournament. The other game is Bournemouth and Aston Villa, and the winner of these 2 games will face off in the championship, with the winner obviously being saved and not being relegated for the next season. That's the one thing for me that I think would be interesting with a 4-team tournament, would be that you would have the winner of it being the only one who's saved, and I think that kind of makes it more dramatic, more interesting. If you did do a 6-team tournament, you would have teams that potentially could clinch in different ways, as you said, maybe a group stage, but it might be more interesting if you had only one team surviving through the tournament.
Yeah. You know, one thing, too, as we can talk about, as this has been a far different game than we've seen in the first one that we broadcasted with our technical difficulties, is that we brought up about Champions League, and of course the one point that's that we made is with English Premier League, Bundesliga, Serie A, and I believe oh man, I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank on the 4th league that has at least 4 teams that get into the Champions League, as that one goes off the woodwork.
La Liga teams?
Yes, La Liga, there we go, thank you. Man, wow. It's a good thing that that was an offside, but ugly offside there just by a fraction of an inch, it looks like. But it's really going to be interesting, too, how everything's going to turn out, especially, too, for, Premier League with Manchester City getting banned, and, the court is... now there's a lawsuit in the court system in Europe whether that they would lift that ban or anything of that nature. But, of course, too, with the virus closing down virtually all of Europe, it would be very interesting to see, as it looks like Watford was very close to getting a header own goal on that shot and that possession there. But it would be very interesting to see what will happen, again, not only with relegations and other leagues and EPL, but Champions League.
Yeah, that's another thing that is very, very interesting, as you mentioned. And I think even them, as you said, Man City is a team that if their case is actually heard by next season, and you have to figure that maybe that would have a delay because of the fact that because of everything that's going on, obviously, with the virus. But at the end, there's another team that is in position here with Sheffield United. Right now, they're in the 7th place in the Premier League. If they were to play and win their next game, they would move up to that 5th spot. They would leapfrog Manchester United, and so that would give them a chance to be in the Champions League. Only 1 year after being promoted and coming up through the championship, which would be in normal times a tremendous story. So that's something that I think if the Premier League does resume, they have to make sure that at least they can play that last round of games before we get into
Yeah, and especially too, obviously it's safe to say that anyone who makes an argument saying that the Premier League should be nullified and it should be as if the season never started, I think that's a little bit of a foolish take and a foolish decision. At this point, I know there's a lot of people who are Liverpool haters who would love to see that happen, but, they played more than half the season. At this point, too, for Liverpool, they're 25 points up. So I think when it comes to the top 4, you should definitely keep it as is. That's been decided. And of course I say that too because I want my good old Leicester City Foxes to make it through. It'd be great to see them in the Champions League after making it for the 16-17 campaign. Of course, too, they've created the absolute greatest English Premier League story, escaping relegation in 2014-15 and then winning the ultimate prize the following year.
That's true, and I would agree with you to an extent. I do think that they do have to finish out the 29th game. I think that there's a couple things that could end up happening, but I think your Leicester City team is well entrenched in there. They should survive, you would think. I don't think that they would fall all the way down to 6th spot. I think when you look at it, Wolverhampton is in. The Wolves obviously are in 6th spot right now with 43 points. That's a 10-point gap. And I don't see, obviously, there being enough games even playing to have Leicester fall out of that spot right now. So that's the way I look at it. And no question, Liverpool has thoroughly deserved.
Yes, I agree there. It's especially, too, it's very interesting to see how things go. But I think one thing I think we should mention here, too, Kels, is that excuse me here, but going into halftime, we see that Watford yet again has been struggling with ball possession. Norwich has had the better chance of possession as we start the second half. So I think when it comes to here, Watford's really got to figure out how to keep Norwich out of their attacking third.
That's right. That's definitely one thing that needs to happen. Also, I wonder what the weather pattern is actually like in this video game right now. If it's going to continue pouring like this throughout the game, because I could see maybe some late drama, some defenders slipping late. Could be interesting to see what happens there.
Yeah, and especially too, it just seems that Norwich they have the possession, but they just seem to again be a little hesitant on pulling the trigger and trying to get a shot on goal. Especially too, you always want to get the best shot and have the highest percentage, but it's not looking very good right now. That they're seeming to be a little more hesitant, even again this time around.
Yeah, and then we just saw a long ball from Watford. I think they're going to try to push forward here. I think if this game was in real life, it may be a little bit different. I think when you look at Norwich, what they've done so far in real life, they've been a team that has scored a lot of goals. They've been able to score with people, but have not really been able to defend very well at all. They've given up the most goals in the Premier League, 52 this season, have a minus 27 goal differential. But one thing, as you well know, they beat your Leicester City Foxes this year. They also beat Man City in one of the shocking upsets at the beginning of the year. So they've got a puncher's chance here. They've got that type of team that can, on any given day, give you a run.
Yeah, especially, again, it's very interesting that they pulled off some upsets, and you'd think that they would be able to ride the highs of that, but seems like after that they really weren't able to maintain the momentum. It definitely shows that it seems to be here. Again, it's a draw compared to the first time, 2-0, so very interesting to see how both virtual teams and managers have been playing this.
Yeah, and for those people who think that regular soccer can't get any more boring, try watching video game soccer where nobody scores. True entertainment right here.
Oh, they have a yellow card.
Yellow card, wow.
Oh, wow. That changes everything.
That's weak for me. I'm not sure about that one. Etienne Copoue.
Yeah, that didn't look like that bad of a tackle, but that's what happens when you watch soccer. There's always questionable calls.
Yeah, I'm not sure what live stream the ref was watching there. Troy Deeney coming out here for Watford. Interesting move by virtual Nigel Pearson.
And that was a poorly taken free kick. Wow.
Yeah, that. Are you controlling Norwich here? Is that what happened on that?
Oh, thanks. I appreciate the love. Well, that name came up pretty well with Cantwell.
Can't take free kicks well.
There you go. Got another goal kick coming here. Anytime now.
And we should mention for the viewers that I am on a slight delay here, so my commentary a little bit behind James's with what's going on. Was just able to see the goal kick.
Ooh. Got a foul there, it looks like.
Oh yeah, he shoved him. Yeah, definitely see that. I don't think that was a flop there. I think that was just a forearm shiver.
Well said.
And we should mention for the people that are just joining us now, this game is game one of the semifinals that we'll be doing. We got Bournemouth and Aston Villa coming up as well. And
yes.
The winner of that game will take on the winner of this one. And this, I believe, I'm not sure yet, but I feel like we should petition the EPL. If they can't continue the season, I feel like the results here should stand.
Yes, exactly. Because this is a very, very, very well-designed simulation. As Watford got the ball back there and tried to get a shot, but no luck. Very easy for the keeper. One thing, too, folks, is that we can tell you is as we start this is obviously our first YouTube live video, but we do plan on also having simming out the rest of the Champions League. So we go from teams that were not so great this season to teams who were very good last season and very good this season. So we will obviously keep you up to speed. And also, too, we do have a podcast, Roundball Daily Podcast. That's available on most podcast sites. We are working on getting that up onto Apple Podcasts, so pretty soon it'll be available there. And also, too, we do have a Facebook page that we will update you when we have some live streams and let you know when our podcast episodes are out. We're on Facebook on Roundball Daily Podcast, so check that out too. And I think we'll stop with the selfless promotions and get back to watching this game.
And we got a comment from Kevin R. saying that there was no hand shiver there. A total flop on that play earlier, so.
Yes, we got substitution coming in. So it's very interesting to see how this game has turned out compared to game one when, we had our little issues earlier of a 2-0. But this one has been a scoreless draw, which to probably very casual soccer fans couldn't bore them more to death. But of course, it's not that boring because you're hearing Kels and I giving you some insight. So couldn't be any. That's not bad.
I feel like anyone could benefit from our insight. We have a lot of wisdom to share.
Yes, exactly.
One interesting thing that virtual Nigel Pearson just did there for Watford is he took out Ismaila Sarr. He's a young player, 22 years old. Had a big game against Liverpool when they won that game. He was tremendous in that game. So it'll be interesting to see down
there. As part of my interruption there, Kelsey had a nice header stopped.
Oh, wow. Great save that was.
Cantwell is coming off, and we got Hernandez coming onto the pitch for Norwich. Rhyme not intended at all.
Look at the throw on that guy. That's a nice hairdo.
That's right, folks. Roundball Daily Sports brings you styling comments during a soccer game. It seems like Norwich is doing a lot of passing, but they have got it up a little upfield, and looks like a corner coming in this very foggy virtual game.
Now, this should be interesting. I'm really curious to see what happens here, James, as I'm not sure what you did before the game here for the settings, but will this go into extra time automatically here?
We will see.
We would not want to see a draw after all this.
No, that we would not.
Interesting back pass there into the box by Watford player. I'm not really sure what he was doing there. That was like a FIFA 95 move right there.
Oh, we almost had our first goal. McLean with a good, looked like a good shot, but had to go wide.
Wow.
Oh, he knows that, his virtual self knows that that could have been a goal.
That was a McLean look, no question about it.
Yes, it was very McLean, and then it became McDirty. So we got another goal kick coming up.
I think I am looking forward, James, to maybe seeing what happens on our simulation. I think it may be more fun to see what happens in the simulation of the rest of the Champions League as well, with those great teams that we have remaining. When you look at some of the teams still in the league, I think one of the interesting stories in real life in the Champions League was Atalanta. Them moving on from the Italian side, then moving on to the final 8. They've never been that far. I would have loved to have seen in real life how far they could have gone. So we'll see maybe when we sim what will happen and if their magical run can continue.
Yes, I would definitely agree there, and hopefully that sim will be a lot more entertaining than what we've seen. This has been fun. I think I speak for myself, and I hope I speak for you as well, Kels, is that despite this being a little bit of a dull game, it is fun to watch, even if it's virtual soccer, some soccer, and hopefully we've been entertaining you all. And if we haven't, you can write to an email that doesn't exist yet, and we'll give it to you, and we'll never check it. But you can write your complaints of how bored you were.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm not opening that.
No. We'll make a password we won't remember, and then we'll forget how to create a new password.
Don't at me on Twitter.
Don't at me. As we have another corner kick that went right to the keeper there. But Norwich might be able to pull this off. They got in their own. They're attacking third pretty well. Let's see if they can hold on to the ball and get at least one more push.
And this is
Ooh! Rebound there. We got 4 minutes of extra time.
Wow. And you know, this late in the game, relegation on the line,
Oh!
Premier League on the line. This is huge right now.
Watford just yet again having it go a little too wide. Oh.
Yeah, wow, beat the keeper too, but just wide. Look at the emotion.
Minute and a half into the 4 minutes of extra time. Can anyone make one more push? Interestingly, Norwich goes with a short goal kick. Norwich wants to get this game, get a win. They got to push up soon. They're running out of time.
Yeah, bad clock.
Oh, is that a foul or do we have? And ladies and gentlemen, our first YouTube Live ends in a tie.
That's not what you want right there.
Oh, wait.
Hopefully we will see some extra time here. We'll see what happens. Obviously, in the real tournament, we would have extra time. It says end second half here, so I'm optimistic.
All right, so we can end it. Golden goal, penalties, classic. We're not going to end this match, folks. We want a W. All right, I think we'll go for today. We'll go with classic with some extra time, 15 minutes each. And then, from after this, when we announce a next YouTube Live, we'll have a poll and we'll let you decide what the ending should be. Should it go right to classic, a golden goal, or a penalty? Of course, we cannot, especially Champions League, we're not going to end the match.
No doubt.
I'm wondering what on earth was going on there. That looked like that was an injured leg trying to kick a soccer ball. Don't you love virtual reality when things just don't add up?
You really have no idea what just happened there. And he's still hobbling around out there. Nigel Pearson really needs to make a switch. But
Well, got Hernandez pushing it up, seeing if he can get in a cross. Right to the keeper, though. Oh, some big shots. Especially look at the different shots on target. Watford 2 and Norwich 7.
Wow, well that was a horrendous pass by number 21 there, back to the Norwich guy. You gotta hate that if you're a Watford supporter right now. The fans, despite the driving rainstorm, fans look pretty dry in the stands. I'm not sure how that is, but
I mean, I'd love to have that virtual reality, but hey, what can you do? As we see Norwich getting ready for yet another corner kick. So it seems like Watford really has struggled on the defensive end of the ball here and hasn't really gotten anything forward. They've done a pretty good job of keeping Norwich from getting, in the net, but Norwich, too, has shot themselves in the foot with a lot of wide shots.
That's true, and I think if these two teams did play in real life, it would be a much more wide open game. I feel like it would be higher scoring. You take a look at these two teams, and they are two good offensive teams with guys who can really score. When you look at Pookie and Troy Deeney and company, so I'm not sure this one would really end 0-0 in real life in the relegation tournament, but
as we have a clearly offside on Watford, 2 players offside by a mile.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that happens. I got to say, we were talking before about who might emerge from a real relegation tournament if they really did this in real life. And the team that I chose was Bournemouth. I feel like the Cherries have the offensive firepower. Callum Wilson, Joshua King, those guys are pretty solid, and I think they've had a little time to rest. They were one of the most beat-up teams.
Oh, we have a goal!
We got a goal. Wow.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Looks like offside. Oh, the flag is up.
Incredible. The drama.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know.
We may need a VAR check on this one. Let's see. Wow.
Wow, I don't think that was offside. Wow, finally some late drama. Wow.
Man, hey.
Well, it looks like Watford's at least trying to get again. Seems like since extra time has started, they've been a little bit more on the offensive side and being a little more pushing it up. So 2 more minutes of extra time added on to this first half of the extra 30 minutes. And again, Kels, I gotta say before we start the second 15 minutes here, I'm still trying to figure out how that was an offside.
Yeah, I gotta be honest, I didn't see that one. Maybe he had 1 pixel offside. I'm not quite sure what happened there, but certainly looked like he was definitely on. We've seen that, though, called this year in the real Premier League, and it's been infuriating a couple times. I remember Sheffield United had a chance to score a goal against Man City that was called off by just like, I mean, if one of the guy's shoelaces was offside, I feel like VAR picks up on that. And I'm not sure as a soccer fan if I really enjoy that, to be honest. I think there should be a little, just a little nuance to the offside. I don't know if it should be as razor sharp as it is, but
yeah, and especially too going into the second half of the extra time here, see that the possession favors Norwich 57 to 43%, but it seems like Watford finally had the closest chance. That goal was taken waved off by an offside flag, but especially too, it seems that it's very interesting to me that you would see, based off these statistics, Norwich has a 63% shot accuracy compared to 25 for Watford. So it's very perplexing to me that it's 0-0. I mean, I can understand why Norwich and Watford's on the edge and Norwich is, well, obviously last place. But based off what you see, you would think that there would be at least 1 goal going on as we resume the match.
You definitely would, and especially the way Watford has played towards the end here, as you said, they've really turned it on, and I gotta see them. I see them scoring. I see them breaking through here. If not, it's going to be very interesting in penalties because we'll see who takes them in what order for Norwich. But you got Pukki, Cantwell came off. I would have thought he would be their second option. So I think Watford may have the advantage there as well in penalties, although they took off Sarr. So it should be interesting here.
Yes, and it seemed that yet again Norwich being a little bit more on the possessive side here this sec. And do we have a foul? We got a yellow card on Will Hughes. That's a second yellow for Watford. They got to be careful.
That's a soft yellow, I have to say. I don't know what Kevin R. has to say about it here, commenting, but I feel like that was a very soft challenge. That is a flop. Are you kidding me? That's James Harden out here. What are we doing?
Wow, that was not good there. So got a free kick and right into the wall.
The 2-man wall, is that where this one's going?
Yes. I mean, it seems like a lot of times with Norwich that they have all these opportunities, but their aim has not been right where they need it to be, as they're being very careful with possession here. A lot of back and forth.
And Norwich also one of those teams that has been back and forth a lot. They're not unfamiliar with relegation territory as they seem to go back and forth between the championship and...
Oh, and we got one off the crossbar.
Off the crossbar. Was that Pukki that put it up there?
Looks like it. Very hard to see who did it when there's no replay.
Well, I'm on a delay here, so I'm basically the replay eyes right here.
Do we have another offside? Yes, another offside. Let's see how close it was here. Oh, yeah, that one's clearly offside. A lot of offside calls in this game so far, but again, it's very interesting how there's been so many offsides, but one of them, I know I keep bringing it up, but
Stunning.
that one offside waved the goal.
Yeah. Watford should have a 1-0 lead right now, no doubt. And they will remember this forever if they do not end up being promoted here.
It's okay. Virtual, Ram disappears over time, so their memory will disappear. The blessedness of being a virtual player. Your memory only works when the console's turned on. As we just saw a poorly designed cross there. And we're drawing closer and closer to penalty kicks.
What could be more exciting, honestly? In a real relegation situation, that would be... Can you imagine the pressure in that situation?
We have 2 more additional minutes.
119. I'll tell you what, James, I really miss World Cup soccer as well. When you had situations like this with the extra time, you don't see that much in regular play, because obviously in the Premier League you're not going to get this. You may see it in the MLS playoffs, but...
Yeah, I would actually love, especially too, if it's a game where it decides the champion, add a little extra time.
Yeah, I totally agree. I actually think that they maybe should go to extra time every game to kind of minimize draws. I feel like you want a winner and a loser. I feel like American sports kind of has it a little bit more right there, where you kind of at least have an overtime period, maybe just one 10-minute period or something like that. But
yeah, especially too, it's interesting. Again, as I told you earlier before we got on today, is that I was watching the documentary about Leicester City. And, especially too, they won based off Chelsea drawing against Tottenham. That's the most anticlimactic way to win a title, in my opinion.
That's true.
So, all right.
That is true. And when you're not even playing in the game, also, that's very anticlimactic as well.
Yes, exactly. So, as we head into the shootout to determine who wins this very, 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 very fun game, and I said very a lot to draw the point that it's very, very, very sarcastic. We have Norwich at 61%, 39% for Watford on possession. So it looks like we got our penalty team ready, and let's see where this goes. As Watford goes first. Oh, and he just missed on the woodwork.
Wow.
And Norwich strikes first.
So that was Delafeu missing. Here's obviously Pookie for Norwich. You knew Pookie was going to put it in.
Well, it seems like on the virtual it speeds up very quickly, as we have Norwich on a 2-1 after 2 for each team. And that was a bad shot by Watford. And that was also bad by Norwich.
I feel like there wouldn't be this many misses in real
life.
life.
For the love of God, I have never seen so many misses in my life. That one went off the woodwork.
Oh, they're going to
So the game goes to Norwich. It's on his foot. Oh! Watford right here has to score to keep it going. Otherwise, Norwich wins. Such climate. Oh, and Norwich wins!
Wow.
Wow!
Oh, man. I hope they don't have much RAM, because they will remember this one for a very long time.
Wow.
Vicarage Road.
Some very poor shots by Watford in the there, and that one was actually it could have gone, at least it was within the frame.
Well, that was a penalty shootout that really befitted the game that we just saw, because it was that bad. 2 relegation teams, and we know why they're in this tournament.
That was just
great save there by Krul.
So Norwich walks away and gets into the final for the playoff. Hopefully the final will be a little more entertaining than this was. So Norwich wins.
Also, didn't realize that Pau Gasol was Norwich's goalkeeper either.
Yeah. All right, folks, we're going to end it here. Hopefully you enjoyed our first YouTube Live as best as you could. This was not obviously a very entertaining game, but we will let you know when we're going to be coming back for the next round. Hopefully that you enjoy your Easter as best as you can. And again, we will come back to you, and again, be on the lookout for our podcast. Kels, any last words?
Just wanted to plug it forward to the other semifinal matchup. It's going to be Bournemouth versus Aston Villa. So fans of those teams, get ready to watch it. And yeah, just the winners. So obviously we'll face off in the final. So
all right.
Hopefully we'll get a better game than this one.
Yes. All right, folks. Again, happy Easter to you, and we'll see you again soon.